From buylocalbowlinggreen.com, this is the Commonwealth in the age of COVID. These are the stories impacting our community during the worldwide pandemic. I'm your host, Matt Pinnell. With most schools closed through the end of the year due to the coronavirus pandemic, teachers have had to act quickly to move academic classes online. But many have also found themselves looking for ways to recreate some of those important school experiences, like end of the year celebrations that students miss. Welcome our special guest today, Craig Widener of Bowling Green High School. Hey Craig, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
I'm okay. Kid graduated elementary school and I had a drive-through at graduation. Yours did high school.
High school, and we had an amazingly intimate, well-done walk-through graduation. I thought it was, from a parent standpoint anyway, a lot better than the mass graduations that we normally do. But it was hard to put on for the school.
Yeah, but you missed last day of school, you missed the prom, you missed all of that, right?
Well, we didn't even miss that, but as an educator, the majority of my students are seniors. So when you're teaching seniors, you kind of work them to death, and then that last couple 5 or 6 weeks, we don't slow down, but we do try to make more meaningful assignments and real world things and get to know them better and make sure they know they're loved. And we missed out on all of that. It was as a teacher, it was probably the least fulfilling year toward the end. Toward the end's always a bittersweet thing. There was no really sweetness to it. I miss the kids terribly.
How was online teaching? Because that's the biggest pivot that I think. I'm doing a lot of these interviews, and a lot of them are business owners. Most people don't understand what it's like to run a business. Most people understand what it's like to go to school, sit in a chair, talk with your friends, be a parent of those kids, but now it's all gone, and they have to get on. Like my daughter woke up every morning, she did her work in an hour, and then she was just chilling at the house.
It was, I think for some disciplines, it was probably easier to make happen than others. I know my son was in PE and he got some PE assignments, so that was kind of fun. But as far as the city schools go where I teach, we were out of school the day the governor called it.
Yeah, it was like that
we
Saturday,
were on a break.
Right?
Well, it was a Friday. He let us know like the next Monday you guys won't be going, and we weren't even in school on that Friday to let the kids know. Okay, here's what we want to get done. Here's how we're going to need you to do it. So getting it set up initially was rough.
How quick was it for them to do that setup though? It felt like it was pretty darn quick.
It's pretty seamless to get it rolling. What you miss out with the online stuff is encouraging the kids, getting to know the kids that were normally turning in everything on time or early, or all of a sudden, now they don't have that structure, so they're sleeping till 1:00. Or I had a couple kids submit assignments at 4 a.m. On Sundays, like Sundays at 4 a.m, I'm getting assignments turned in. So as much as students tend to complain about getting up and going to school, I think that structure and having a teacher being able to talk to them, pull them outside of the class, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you able to get stuff done? Or what can we do better to make this happen? That was out the window. And even I called probably during that time 90 to 100 kids, just say I want to check on them, I want to talk to them. If some of them weren't doing what they needed to do, and they're all, yeah, I'll get it done. But then you don't hear from them for another week, and you got to call them again and what's going on. So that was probably the biggest thing, just not having that human element to education, which is more important than anything else. Those relationships that you build or how you teach, content's important, but if you don't have a relationship, you can be the best content teacher on earth and nobody's going to learn anything.
So we're sitting here, we're recording this before Memorial Day weekend. This is going to be out before mid-June. We don't know yet what the fall is going to look like. Everyone's opening up. We're actually outside of Mellow Mats. Half the people I've seen come by wear a mask, half aren't. So people need to be educated a little bit better on this stuff. If this spikes again, are the teachers prepared to start school without going to class?
I think starting school immediately without going to class is being extremely difficult.
Okay.
Explain
why.
Because again, you've got to get at least a couple weeks to get to know the kids, get them to understand your teaching style and what's going to be expected of them. We're especially with elementary and middle school kids and even high school kids, they're not college. They're not adults. I mean, they some of them look like adults. They look like they're grown up, but they're not. And so you need that time to kind of set that structure. Okay, here's where our classroom's going to be. Here's what I need you to do. Here's how it's going to work. And you need that in person at first. Could you do it? Yeah, you could definitely do it. Would it be the best way to educate? Without a doubt, no. And like you said, as we sit here and we see people, some people are taking it really seriously, and maybe they understand a little bit better, how things should work, and other people are just like, whatever happens, happens. But if you go with kind of a laissez-faire attitude, we might be in for it again in the fall if everything that people are saying is going to hold true.
Do you see any positives to the online learning so far?
It's positive to the point that if we would have had our seniors have to make up all these days and we would have been back in school, say June 1st, and have to go to mid-July or something, it would have been awful.
Okay.
Attendance would have been awful. So it's good, and it's doable. I mean, you can educate kids online. You can educate them. It's just not the same. But other than that, I mean, I didn't become a teacher to talk to a camera all day or to look at kids on a computer screen. That's so far removed from why I became a teacher. I think some teachers like it, but personally, you can do it. But
you're a very, I'll say it for you, you're a very popular teacher because you are more one-on-one with the kids. You've been a soccer coach. The one thing you do right now that is built for this time period is you do esports. That's the one thing I didn't understand got canceled.
And I to be honest, when they sent we got an email from the Kentucky High School Athletic Association saying all sports were suspended. We couldn't do anything. We could not have practices. You could talk to them. You could send them workouts, but you couldn't require them to do it. We couldn't meet with them. And, I sent an email and I said, are you sure with esports? Because the association that runs our stuff said you can do it from home, like as long as they're online at the same time. We can set up matches, even if you need to do it earlier or later. We'll be very flexible.
Sure.
And the KHSAA said, no, it extends to all sports, which blew my mind because we could have done that. We could have streamed it like
you
normal.
You might have built up a more base of...
Well, my son spent a couple hours watching the NBA players play 2K online. I mean,
sure.
Just my NASCAR, he was watching NASCAR. I mean, kids, it is a new arena for things for sports and sports viewing. And when they said we couldn't do that, it kind of did floor me.
How dire has it gotten? Have you joined TikTok?
I've been encouraged to, and I've got a couple that I've thought up that I want to get done. My daughter keeps saying, "Go ahead, please do it," but I've yet to do it. I'm trying to pivot, trying to make that leap, but I haven't done it yet.
So, what would you say to those that are kind of preparing their kids in the summer? Their kids are leaving junior high. I'm having this issue. My kids leaving elementary school had no intro to junior high. So they're going to kind of be thrown into it. I'm not asking you to answer that. What about the people who are having their kids leave junior high? They didn't have that kind of intro to high school. What should they be preparing their kids for?
I'd say one, breathe. Okay. Because as from my experience anyway, kids are much more flexible than adults are.
Sure.
But two, everybody's in the same boat. I mean, we didn't get that time to prepare our high school seniors to go to college the way we like to. The 8th graders didn't get it to go to the high school. The 5th graders didn't get it to go to the junior high. Everybody's in the same boat. So when it comes, everybody's going to be kind of dumbfounded and awestruck and everything else. But they'll get through it. And again, I hope the routine gets back to normal. Because I think kids really do like routine. But
there will be a routine, even if they do go back to school. It will be a little bit different than normal because are you guys already preparing for like the social distancing aspect? I mean that's probably stressful to yourself just thinking about that. But what are they doing right now?
Well, right now, personally, I'm on 38 straight days of yoga and a lot of meditation, trying to prepare myself because. The Department of Education sent out a 19-page kind of manifesto on how things need to be before we can reopen. And when you read through it, some of that stuff that they're suggesting is going to be, in elementary school, I have no idea how you'd ever implement it. how you keep elementary school kids away from each other.
The hugs are alone or all over the place.
Hugs and toys and touching and crayons and but even at high school, we've got a couple, the city schools has done a good job getting a couple task force together to kind of try to hash out some ideas. We're going to be doing that throughout the summer. They've already got a couple dates. We're going to kind of meet and throw some things out there. But again, it's really going to depend on what the climate of our country looks like come toward the start of school. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed and staying optimistic that that hopefully we'll be able to start normal. But I don't know. That's the great unknown. Nobody knows.
Well, I guess we'll leave it there.
All right.
Thank you, Craig.
Right on.
That's it for this episode of Commonwealth in the Age of COVID. Do you have a story you want to share with us? Email us at buylocalbg@gmail.com. Join us this Tuesday with another special guest. Be sure to like and subscribe to all our social media platforms, as well as follow us on the podcast on the app you are currently listening to. We hope you have a great week and stay safe, Kentucky.